All right, CLA shooting brake in the city. How does it fare now that it's larger? Is it too tight to fit into these narrow city streets? Well, let's find out. I'm here in a small little seaside village in the Spanish island of Mallorca. Now, to help me navigate the city, the CLA shooting brake has a couple really useful features. First of all, it has the speed limiter, which I love to use in the city. People often get confused with cruise control and the adaptive lane keeping and the distance system, but the speed limiter is just allowing me to manage the speed up until the limit that I've set, and it will make sure that I don't go faster than that, and therefore it makes sure that I don't get a speeding ticket. So this is a really smart system because it detects this speed change based on the traffic sign recognition system, and it also uses the intelligent regenerative brake, the recuperation system, to make sure that I don't go over the speed limit. So now I've set the speed limit to 30, I'm going downhill and it's braking to make sure that I don't cross the 30 speed limit. So it's really comfortable, you don't have to worry about looking at the speedometer all the time. And this intelligent recuperation also works, for example, if I'm getting too close to the car in front, it will also detect that I'm, getting very close and will automatically start braking me. So it's also taking the stress of that away from you. So like right now, I'm coming up to this junction and the car is automatically braking. So it also helps you by taking over some of these tasks to make city driving that much easier. If you don't want to rely on the intelligent regenerative system, you can just flick the stock and now you can choose between normal recuperation or you can go to strong recuperation, and this is a true one pedal. So I have let go of the accelerator pedal now because I'm waiting for the pedestrians to cross and the car has come to a complete stop on its own. So this is also really useful if you're driving in the city to work every day, your daily commute is in traffic jams all, throughout your commute. This one pedal driving really makes it easier. To go back to the intelligent, just flick the stock twice and then it becomes intelligent. The suspension now, keep in mind, we said that there is no adaptive damping. You just get a standard fixed spring rate, but they have, a Pentalink suspension at the rear. They also have, very nice hydraulic stoppers. So it does take the edge off of these, like for example, manhole covers and potholes and the bumps in the city that I'm going on. But yeah, I think 18-inch wheels still look nice and it will add that extra layer of cushioning to make that a little bit better. But to be honest, it's not bad. They've done a lot of work to make sure that the suspension is compliant enough. Of course, over cobblestones and rumble strips, you do feel that kind of filtering into the cabin. So I would say 18 inches wheels are better. But look at this gorgeous view. It's so nice. And with this panoramic roof, there's so much light that's coming in. So yeah, it's a really nice ambience. It's a really nice place to be. The windshield is nice and large. The windows on the side are also not too bad. But the view out the rear is a little bit limited because of that sloping estate coupe-like design. The actual vertical height of the windshield in the back is not that big. So the rear window doesn't give me such a great view out back, but there's of course a lot of great camera systems and assistance systems to help you. And the navigation is also so easy. Here in the city, if it's a city that you've never been to, you have this augmented reality showing you where to take the turns. So in general, it's very easy. The steering is light, and in the comfort mode that I'm in now, the throttle response is very muted. So it's not jerky, it's creeping at a very slow pace. It's a little bit more dull to my throttle inputs, so I don't have to worry about being too precise, especially in the one pedal drive. It's taking the edge off of that for me, and therefore in the city, it's definitely very, very comfortable. So the CLA shooting brake out on the highway. We're getting onto the the Autostrada now to the highway, so let's test it out and see how it performs. First of all, electric motor, so woohoo! Making those quick jumps in the gaps in the traffic, really easy. And again, because of all of these sensors, even if I haven't turned on the adaptive cruise control or anything yet, the regenerative braking is already slowing me down, making sure I don't get too close to the car in front. So even if you don't have the adaptive cruise control system turned on, there is always a baseline safety net going for you. But let's turn it on now. So with a simple double tap, I have turned on the the driving assistance system. And there's actually a really nice view here on my instrument cluster where I can see what the car is seeing. So I can see that it recognizes this is the dotted line. I'm on the left lane. It knows the cars in front of me. It also knows the cars behind me. It's recognized that exit. So it gives me confidence that I can trust the system because it shows me what it's seeing. It's of course maintaining me in the middle of the lane. It's really composed and sure-footed. So now it will help me switch lanes in a safe manner and maintain that steady path as soon as it's, brought me to the correct lane. Let's talk a little bit about comfort. So the suspension, no adaptive suspension, but it's able to manage these undulations on these. The surfacing is quite smooth, but I do feel a little bit of up and down undulation. The suspension is doing a good job of maintaining that. So it's the damping has a pretty good setting right out of the box. There is no motor noise to speak of. You can choose those different sound profiles, but on the highway, it's not producing any sound, which is great because you don't want a constant drone adding to the fatigue. But there is a little bit of tire noise. Wind noise is really well contained, but overall, the refinement is really good. I'm very happy to see that, it's in general a very, very isolated cabin from the outside world. Steering is pretty heavy now. It's also, with the lane keeping assist, of course, it's not letting me, see, there we go. See, now it's making that lane change for me. But with this ADAS system turned on, the steering weight doesn't really come into play anymore because it's steering for me. So the feedback is unnatural that way. The seats are also doing a good job of keeping me in place. I like the Artico and this kind of fake artificial suede material here. It's got a nice grip. I'm not sliding around. These seats are a little bit narrow, but it fits somebody of my size pretty well. So I would recommend that when you have a chance, you also take a test drive and see which seat options might be better suited for you. Visibility on the highway is, again, good. You're looking out mostly in front, and there's a big expansive windshield. And overall, this is definitely a great car to do long-distance road trips in. How does the CLA fare on winding mountain roads? Let's find out. I will go to the dynamic select and choose sport mode. All right, this is also the 4MATIC with dual motors, so front and rear axles. And I also have the Roaring Pulse sound theme activated. It sounds like an alien V8. I don't know how to describe it. It has that low frequency rumbling sound, but of course there's no actual firing of cylinders. We're going to take it easy up this mountain because it's a very narrow road and there are joggers and cyclists. But let's see what we can make of it. Already, what I've noticed is that the CLA actually handles so much better than the GLB, which is its sibling on the same platform. Of course, straight line acceleration is really good for both of them, but the steering is significantly better in the CLA. The feedback of the steering wheel is very natural as compared to the slightly dull GLB. So here I think it definitely lends itself a more sporty character. And of course, that straight line acceleration with the electric motor really, really comes into its own. Also, the four-wheel drive means that there's plenty of grip. So if the rear wheels are not able to find enough traction, the front wheels pull me out, and I can also feel like just the amount of tremendous grip. Also, thanks in part, of course, to this really heavy battery pack, but that also gives this a low center of gravity. So overall, all these things come together to make the CLA a surprisingly fun car to drive on winding roads like this. At these speeds, on these slightly rougher surfaces, this suspension does feel a little bit bouncy. But again, I think that does lend itself a little bit more of a sporty character nonetheless. But as you can see from my face, the movements are not jarring. There's no sharpness. It's still very controlled up and down. The brake feel is not too bad, but since it's mostly regenerative braking, you have to press a little bit harder than you probably would have with just the friction brakes. This does have disc brakes all around this platform, so you know that there is always that fail-safe if you really need it. But yeah, you do have to press the brakes a little bit harder than you might be expecting to. All right, so to get a real-world figure for the efficiency and range, we did a short 1 hour 37-minute loop from here on the coast in Palma de Mallorca, and we covered some city traffic roads. We went up a mountain a little bit. We went on the highway, sustained speeds of around 100 to 120, and we did about 100 kilometers, and the consumption is 16 kilowatt hours for 100 kilometers. So in a real world use like this, you can expect a range of about 530 kilometers. The state of the battery says that there's 69% left, and it does still show that there's 433 kilometers left.